Well, thank you, friends, for coming out tonight to Steve's house. Steve, thank you so much for hosting us.
Great house.
What an honor to have Dave Foster out to advocate for our campaign tonight. You know, when we just had an event 2 nights ago with Ambassador John Bolton and former Senator Norm Coleman, and I met Senator Coleman for the first time, I think it was back in March, and he was kicking off a new think tank that he started, and it's all about job creation. Well, who knows jobs? Bob's for jobs, right? So the keynote speaker was Governor McDonald. So on a break, I went up and said hi to him and talked to him. Diana was with me. Diana has worked on Dave's campaigns in the past, and we were just chit-chatting with the governor, and she mentioned that she had worked on his campaigns. The governor's face lit up, and he said that Dave was one of the first 2 or 3 appointments that he made after he took the oath of office for his administration, and that speaks very highly of you, Dave, and we really appreciate having you out tonight. It's an honor. Now, I think everyone in here, I didn't even study for that test that he just gave, but I think everyone passed with flying colors, and I appreciate that. We have 33 days before an election. And I think that the choices are very clear, and I just want to talk about them briefly. I know just about all of you in here now, and you all know me. I'm a pretty simple guy. I was raised by a single mother. She was a librarian in an elementary school. She taught me some good values like working hard, being honest, and living within your means that I wonder why the United States Congress doesn't adhere to. And after serving 24 years in the military, I hung up my uniform last year because I think that this country is in trouble. And I want to continue to support and defend the Constitution and serve this greatest of nations and improve this greatest of nations in the Congress of the United States, because I think that we have too many career politicians like Jim Moran who will say and do just about anything they can in order to get reelected every 2 years. And that, ladies and gentlemen, has got to stop. What's happened by virtue of that, as Dave alluded to, is $13 trillion of debt, $1.5 trillion of a budget deficit, and wasteful government spending that we can't afford. We are broke. I just went to an event with Frank Wolf, and he stood up there and he said, ladies and gentlemen, all the numbers are bad. Do you know that we graduate 70,000, last year, I think it was 2009 the numbers were, we graduated 70,000 from college engineers in this country. Half of them are going to go, just about half of them are going to go back because their H-1B visas are going to expire while they want to stay here. Many of them are going to go back to India, to China, and from wherever they're from. Speaking of China, we graduated 70,000, they graduated 700,000 last year. So education is something that we have got to start to deal with. And I look at our standards of learning. I look at what Florida has done, and they've done some great things with education, from holding schools and teachers accountable, from teaching fundamentals, reading, writing, and arithmetic, and that's what we need to do. And focus on those fundamentals and hold our teachers and students accountable and give some K through 12 public and private school options that I think will help us greatly here in Virginia, although Virginia is doing much better in education than most states in the country. So that's a priority, and I think when we talk about national security, it really bothers me as a 24-year veteran that Jim Moran consistently votes against funding our troops. And I said to him the other night, you know, if you don't want to support the war, then give a speech or write the president or something. But think about the ramifications of his vote if he got his way. And this isn't about being, no one's pro-war. Trust me, we in the military are the last people that want to go to war. And because we've been there and we've seen it. But when the Commander-in-Chief commits to send 120,000 troops to Afghanistan, you fund them. You make sure that they have the equipment that they need, the medical support that they need, the food, the ammunition, and everything else, or you bring them home.
Here, here.
And you support your allies too. We have a strong bilateral relationship with Israel, although under this administration I'm a little bit concerned about where it's gone. But what I really appreciate is the fact that for the most part our relationship with Israel has been bipartisan. There was a Steny Hoyer, Eric Cantor letter that they wrote together, signed by the vast majority of Congress to the Obama administration, stressing the importance, the bipartisan importance of maintaining a strong, close relationship with Israel. Guess who didn't sign that letter?
Jim Moran.
That was the other part of your test, and you passed that too. So those are a lot of the concerns that I have, and when we had debates recently, we talked about all of these concerns. I got to ask Jim a question, and I sort of ran through all of these issues. The fact that he's been in Congress for 20 years, loves to blame everybody else. He blamed President Bush, by the way. I'm not kidding you. He blamed President Bush at our third debate the other night for the oil spill, which it happened, a little over a year after President Bush left office and moved to Dallas, Texas. So it's all about the Taliban, which are the Republicans, and President Bush, they're the boogeyman. But I ran through all of the issues, and I said that with the debt, the deficit, everything else, if you're reelected, Jim, what are you going to do differently? And he said, I'm not going to do anything differently. I'm going to continue to do exactly what I've done. And so that makes the choice to me very clear. If you're happy with the way things are going, if you're happy with the debt, you're happy with the deficit, the first generation in American history that is looking at handing off a country to our kids that's worse off than we got. I don't want that happening on my watch. If you're happy with that, then vote for Jim Moran, because he's told us in no uncertain terms that that's exactly what he's going to continue to do. But if you want a better way, and you want to return some character and integrity and leadership to Congress, if you want to stop spending money that we don't have, balance our budget, and put the needs of Americans before your own re-election desires, then, ladies and gentlemen, that's why I'm running for Congress. And that's why I'm asking for your support and your vote in the ensuing 33 days between now and November the 2nd. Because I'll tell you, normally in 2008 or 2012, this is probably not a winnable race. But this year, in 2010, we have very compelling numbers. We've done polling. We have nobody above us on the ticket, so there's nobody to go vote for Senator Webb, Senator Warner, Creed, Deeds, or Barack Obama. There's only Jim Moran for people to go vote for. And he doesn't get his vote out so well. So we have looked at the numbers, the polling that we've done. We've shown it to the powers that be up on Capitol Hill and down in Richmond, and that's why we're getting a lot of support. And that's why I need your support, because on November 2nd, we're going to fire Jim Moran. Now, before I close, I just want to, we spend a lot of time walking around the district, and I'm at Metro Stops. I was at Van Dorn this morning. By the way, Metro Stops when it's pouring rain, not good. They said, oh, no, Patrick, it'll be great. Everyone will be so impressed that you're out there. Yeah, no, they're like, it's pouring rain, let me in. Anyway, we're up early at the Metro Stops, and we're out shaking hands and meeting voters and asking what their issues are and their concerns. And that's how we won the primary, and that's how we're going to win this, is our ground game and our phone calls. We got our new VoIP phones in. They started tonight. We were out walking a couple of days